Welcome to the final episode 3 of The Alaskan Creature. The air was so cold that Caroline felt her lungs were freezing over, and she was not genuinely breathing. The rifle in her hands felt incredibly heavy. The snow slowed her down as she ran back in the direction of the house. Just as she was approaching home, she realized something was running in the forest alongside her. She heard it, twigs and branches snapping and deep growling. It was incredibly fast, large and tall. It was hairy and dark, but the forest trees kept it mostly hidden from view. It was a monster, that's what it was. Caroline's son Alex finally came into view. He was running to the house, but he had a limp, and he was running too slow. Caroline was horrified. "Alex," she cried. "Get in the house." Alex turned and looked at her, his little face startled and pale. He couldn't run any faster. Caroline ran faster than ever. In record time, she reached her son, grabbed him by the waist, and hoisted him to the entrance door. It was unlocked, just as she had left it on purpose. "Mama, it's coming here!" Alex shrieked. Caroline opened the door and shoved her son inside the house. By the time she turned around, the creature was a few feet away from her. It was snarling, mouth open and snapping with huge teeth. Its eyes were tiny in the huge skull, yet they had an immense fury in them. Caroline didn't know what would come out of what she was about to do, but she did it anyway. She didn't care what she was facing, she would never let anybody hurt her son. She shot the monster in the sizable chest, and with a second shot, she struck it straight in the center in its monstrous open jaw. That bullet tore through the creature's head and out the back of it with a spray of blood and silence that chilled her. The monster fell on its back. It lay there, half its head blown away. It was a massive, hairy monster, almost reminding Caroline of what legends called Bigfoot. She was shaking as she stared at it, still pointing the rifle at it. "Is it dead?" Alex asked. She nodded, too terrified to say a word. Just a few instants later, the police were at her house. The creature was taken away, and no words were exchanged on what that creature might have been. Caroline had the feeling she wasn't supposed to ask, either. Later in the news, it was reported that a deformed grizzly bear had caused a bus crash. "I don't think it was a grizzly," Alex said while eating a bowl of cereal in front of the television. Tim, instead, had already fallen asleep next to Caroline on the couch, exhausted from the frightening day. Caroline didn't say anything, thinking Alex was right. That had not been a deformed grizzly. That had been a monster. A chill ran through her, thinking of the story of how the previous owner of their house had been killed by a bear just outside their home. Maybe it had not been a bear back then, either. Caroline was feeling on edge, wishing her husband would be back soon. Just as she was thinking about him, her phone lit up with a call from him. When she picked up, his words chilled her. "Hey, listen, I hit something out here on our road." The end. We hope you have enjoyed The Alaskan Creature. We invite you to check out our other stories.